Let's move to health matters now, where the Oyo State Government has implemented a ban on the use of styrofoam for food packaging and storage in a bid to enhance food safety standards. This decision comes after the State House of Assembly on Thursday, that's February 8, 2024, urged the state government to take action against styrofoam usage. In response, the government inaugurated the Food Safety Compliance Enforcement Task Force to oversee the enforcement of food safety regulations across the state. Announcing the ban during the Food Safety Stakeholders Forum and the inauguration of the task force in Ibadan, the State Commissioner for Health, Oluwaserimi Ajetunmobi, emphasized the importance of upholding food safety standards. Ajetunmobi, represented by the ministry's permanent secretary, Akintunde Ayinde, stated that prevention is better and cheaper than cure, urging strict adherence to food standards to safeguard lives in the state. Now, joining me to discuss this is the immediate past president, Lautech Teaching Hospital, Dr. Moshokbe Orogun. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening. Now, what health risks are associated with continued usage of the styrofoam for food packaging and storage?
Again, thank you so much. Thank you for this. Now, about the styrofoam, there are so many health risks associated with the use of styrofoam. And for some time, companies, especially food companies that pay so much attention to the health of people, especially via food, have banned or have limited the use of styrofoam. Now, in the year 2023, WHO actually published the data that about 20 million cases of cancer were diagnosed in 2023 alone, and close to 10 million persons died from cancer. Now, styrofoam, which is made from polystyrene, essentially, is linked with genetic alterations, and that is directly linked to what we call carcinogenesis in the medical parlance, which essentially means the development of cancer. So styrofoam has a risk for cancer development, apart from its environmental risks, which, because styrofoam is not biodegradable, Washington published an article that shows that styrofoam can take up to 500 years to be degraded fully. Now, 500 years is a long time. It means that these materials will clog up the drainages and all other places where water should pass through. And because water will be clogged up and not flow freely, there will be diseases that are perpetuated by such conditions. So there are quite a number of risks that these will really present to people, both bodily to the persons and then even to the environment. And all of these would lead to ill health at the end of the day. So that's why we see state governments taking this seriously and banning the use of styrofoam, because that is really the way to go.
All right, now let's talk about alternatives to styrofoam that are available to small restaurants and traders, and the health benefits associated with switching to these alternatives.
Yes, there are alternatives, because it will really be a failed mission if there are no alternatives. Some of the alternatives are biodegradable plastics, which we see that restaurants are turning to in increasing number since the ban on the styrofoam. Also, we have plant-based containers. There are companies that make plant-based containers. Although it may seem to be a bit more expensive than the styrofoam, but the far-reaching health benefits would pretty much compensate for whatever increase in price that we have. We have aluminum foils too that can be used to package foods, and we have paper bags. All of these have been employed by companies. They are not really new things. It's just that they've not been used in the way they ought to be used. And now that we see bans on the styrofoam across states, I think we will see increasing use of some of these as in the coming days.
All right. I mean, you talked about biodegradable plastics. I would have loved you to give some sort of, explanation as regards that, because there's also the conversation around the use of plastic itself. But In terms of public health, what initiatives do you propose to educate the public about the health risk associated with styrofoam usage and also promote healthy food packaging practices?
First of all, there has to be honesty, a lot of it, because the populace is suspicious of the things that are done, and that means that the people that are making these laws have to really invest in public education, and that would mean going through radio stations, media outlets like yours, that have this reach, and then even going to the level of religious houses and through all this media to pass the message across as to the risks and the risks of styrofoam usage and the benefits of switching to these other methods of food packaging. I think that would be important. Also, I think it would be important to bring on people who are experts, both in the manufacturing industry and in the health industry, to also talk to people. Again, going to schools to educate children on the usage of these things, and even going to the places where these packaging modes are used the most, the restaurants, to also talk to them to change the means of, packaging food for their customers and really talk to them about the health benefits of switching. And shortly before you take over, about the plastics, I think the encouragement should be to use plastic that you can use more than once, not a single-use plastic, those that you can use more than once. And there are companies that are also switching to that, encouraging people to bring their own containers so that you don't have to have, plastics like that or styrofoams like that that you have to dispose, which will really harm the environment.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.